let's get into what happened during this Baddies Midwest Reunion Part 1. Now, I will say I enjoyed it. I thought it was entertaining. However, I will say I feel like they wasted a lot of time on things that they did not have to waste time on, like the stuff that was happening backstage. I feel like they spent way too much time showing us what was going on backstage, and a lot of it was unnecessary. I feel like the only things that they should have shown us that was going on backstage was the back and forth between Ivori and Mel, and then the fight between Summer, Dolly, and Emma. Other than that, nothing else that happened backstage was really relevant. Now, I did think it was funny that as the girls were walking into the building, they showed them getting pat down and checked by security. Obviously, I feel like they think they have to do this because of the situation that happened with Tommy earlier in the season, and I definitely think they made the right choice by patting these girls down because things got pretty crazy this season. Now, they ended up putting Dolly, Big Legs, Summer, and Rolley in a room together, obviously because those three really enjoyed Rolley's presence this season because she decided not to stay in the house with the OGs and she decided to spend the time with the girls that were new and get to know them, and she did what Natalie should have been doing. I feel like Natalie should have been doing what Rolley was doing, which was get to know the new girls this season instead of spending all of her time with the OGs, because I feel like that's what contributed to the OGs feeling so entitled and feeling like they could just sit back and do whatever they want. Now, Rolley ended up apologizing to Summer for the back and forth that they got into at the Baddies Africa auditions. Obviously, we know that Summer got a girl jumped who was a gun violence victim, and nobody liked that. Everybody thought that she was wrong for that, and Rolley ended up really checking her, and things almost got physical between the two of them. And I don't always agree with Rolley, but I do think that it was right for her to check Summer because I do think that she was out of line at the Baddies Africa auditions. However, I do appreciate the fact that she was able to understand that she probably could have handled that situation differently, and I like the fact that Summer was open to listening to what Rolley had to say, and she also ended up apologizing for the way that she was acting. I know some people thought that this was weak between the two of them, but personally I thought that it was pretty mature. Now, they ended up putting Ivori in a room with Pretty Pete and Jasmine, and let me just tell you, these three looked amazing. They looked great, but they all said that they were going to change their outfits because they know they're probably going to end up getting into multiple different fights and they're going to be all messed up. Their clothes are probably going to be ripped up and their wigs are probably going to come off, and I think they made the right decision by deciding to change what they were wearing. Now, to no surprise, they ended up putting Anna, Biggie, Tasiki, and Scotty together in a room, and they all started talking, and Scotty said that she feels like she's going to be beefing with Rolley when they get on stage because Rolley has an issue with her getting online and apologizing to the fans for not defending Slim. And look, to me, Biggie was asking all the right questions to Scotty because she ended up asking Scotty why she didn't stick up for Slim in the moment and why she waited until after the episode aired. And Scotty said that it was because she was standing by her friend Rolley and she understood why Rolley had an issue with Slim, but she didn't see all the other bullying that Slim was going through in the episode. And I call cap on that. I honestly feel like Scotty got ate up by a lot of the fans, and that's the reason why she got online and started apologizing and saying that she didn't agree with the way that Slim was being treated. Because honestly, if she didn't agree with the way that Slim was being treated, she could have spoke up. I'm not saying that she had to put her hands on anybody to defend Slim. Nobody had to be honest with you, but she could have spoke up and said something at the moment. So I feel like it was just because of the way the fans were coming at her that she decided to get online and apologize. Now, Anna started saying that she also felt bad for Slim, but the reason why she didn't defend Slim is because she felt like Slim was not defending herself. Now look, I do think that it was stupid for Slim to agree to be Rolley's assistant. However, she wasn't really her assistant because she didn't do anything that Rolley asked her to do. But I don't really feel like a lot of these girls felt bad. I feel like they were fine with it. The only reason why they're saying now that they felt bad is because of the way the fans reacted to it. They thought the fans were going to look at Slim like she was a punk and she was scary, and they felt like she deserved what she was getting, and that's not how the fans reacted at all. So now a lot of people are trying to save face and say that they didn't agree with what was happening. Now, they ended up putting Tinkerbella, Diamond the Body, Jayla, Nunu, and Jaden all in the same room, and Tinkerbella and Jayla are going back and forth with each other, and honestly, I have no idea what they're arguing about. When I saw the clip of why they were arguing, it seemed like Tinkerbella felt like Jayla was talking about her or misinterpreting something that she was saying. It seemed like a big misunderstanding between the two of them, but they were yelling back and forth at each other, and I really wasn't paying attention to what they were saying. I was staring at Jayla though, because even though I'm not really a fan of her, and I wasn't a fan of her on Bad Girls Club either, I think she's gorgeous. gorgeous, and she looked absolutely beautiful at this reunion. Now, here's where things get crazy backstage, okay? Because Dolly, Summer, and Lex were talking to Rollie about her dog because she brought a dog with her just like Anna and Scotty do too. So she brought a dog with her. They were talking about that, and all of a sudden, Yoshi and Emma end up walking into the room. Now, look, I will say that even though I think that Dolly and Summer were wrong in this situation, they were sitting down when Emma came in. Emma literally walked through the door and they were still sitting in their seats, and Emma was the one that initiated a fight. Now, it looked like she was talking to Dolly, but Summer was the one that jumped up first, and so her and Emma start fighting with each other, and Dolly tries to run over there, and Big Lex jumps up and she's grabbing Dolly, but then Dolly gets loose and she runs over there and she grabs onto Emma's hair while Emma is fighting Summer. So then that's when, you know, Big Lex starts grabbing Summer out of the way because she feels like it needs to be a one-on-one fight. So she's basically stopping Emma from getting jumped. And look, Dolly was really giving it to Emma. I'm sorry. Once Big Lex took Summer out of the way, Dolly was really getting Emma, but I do think that it was wrong that they jumped her. I don't think that it was right. I don't feel like it was necessary. I feel like they could have fought her one-on-one. I don't think it was necessary for both of them to be hitting her at the same time. And once the fight was finally broken up, Emma's nose was definitely bleeding, and that's when Rollie, Yoshi, and Lex went to go check on her, and Emma was saying that she didn't think it was necessary for the two of them to jump her, and Lex told her that she needed to stay ready so that she doesn't have to get ready. And so that seemed to really piss off Emma because she made some posts on social media last night after it aired saying that she thought it was weird that Lex said something like that to her, and she ended up unfollowing Big Lex. Now, I think it's stupid that she has a problem with Lex telling her that she has to stay ready, because I just don't understand why she's mad at somebody who was trying to stop her from getting jumped. Like, she was holding back her own friends to make sure she didn't get jumped, and she's mad at Lex. That's weird to me. And then I saw some fans calling Big Lex weird too, and I'm just like, now the hate train for Big Lex is starting to get a little bit too far. It's starting to be really forced because I don't really feel like she's done anything really for people to hate her. I mean, it's okay to not like somebody because she just might not be your cup of tea, but being mad at her for this situation was stupid to me, because people would have been mad if she would have just sat there and let the two of them jump Emma, but because she was up trying to make sure that she didn't get jumped, people are still mad at her. I don't know, it's just weird. Now, Natalie ends up getting called into Mel's room because Mel is going off saying that she feels like she's being set up because there's too many girls that want to fight her. She claimed that it was only Ivori at first, and now a bunch of other people want to fight her. But I'm sorry, I distinctly remember that before the reunion was airing, I know that, you know, Mel was online talking about a lot of different people, and Tasiki was one of those people. So, I mean, she calls out a lot of the fights that she was supposed to have at this reunion. So Natalie starts telling Mel that she doesn't have to fight anybody if she doesn't want to, and if she wants to go home and she doesn't want to be a part of the reunion, she can do that. So Natalie and security start walking Mel out of the building, and while they're walking Mel out of the building, Ivori comes outside and she starts calling out Mel, telling her that they can fight right now because she has more important fights to handle when she gets inside and she gets on stage. So Mel is yelling back at Ivori, calling her all types of names and telling her that she's not going to fight her and she's not going to allow herself to be set up. I don't feel like she was being set up at all. I'm sorry, I don't think that she was. I mean, I understand why she felt uncomfortable, because during the episode where her and Ivori started fighting, a lot of the girls were cheering for Ivori, and she probably felt like everybody was against her. So she probably felt like when she got on stage, everybody was just going to jump on her. But I do feel like, you know, if she wasn't scary, she should have just fought Ivori right there while they were outside, to be honest with you. Because Ivori was willing to fight her without anybody else around. I'm not saying that Mel is scared of Ivori, because they fought too many times to say that Mel is afraid of her. I don't think she was afraid of her. I just really don't think that she wanted to fight at that point. So Saucy Santana and Janisha were the hosts, and they ended up coming on stage and having a conversation. And then obviously Bobby is hosting with the audience, like he sits out with the audience and talks to them. And look, I will say that I don't mind Saucy Santana being the host. I know some people didn't like him as the host last season, but I actually enjoy him being there because he actually watched the show. The other hosts that they've had in past seasons, they didn't watch the show, so they didn't know what was going on. They didn't know any of the beefs, any of the drama, and Saucy Santana has completely kept up with everything, which makes him fit to be the host of this reunion. And he said that his favorite baddie for this season was Summer, and a lot of the fans in the audience did not really like his answer, but he said that the reason why he liked Summer is because even though she can be annoying sometimes, she's great for reality TV, and she'll talk her shit and she'll fight, and even if she loses, she'll get up and she'll fight again. And I do have to agree, even though she wasn't my favorite because I do think that she's annoying and she's obnoxious, I will say she is good for TV, and even if she loses a fight, she'll still get up and get in the paint, so I will give her that. And look, Janisha and Saucy Santana said the same thing that I said about the OGs. They were very boring and they sat back and did absolutely nothing because they felt so entitled. They felt like they would have a job anyway, so they felt like they didn't have to do anything, and the new girls were the ones that actually made the season. I completely agree with that 150%. Now, finally, they end up calling some of the baddies on stage. They call Natalie, Scotty, Tasiki, and then they call Diamond the Body. Now, look, Natalie, Scotty, and Tasiki are already sitting down when Diamond the Body gets called out, and the fans are cheering for Diamond the Body, and Natalie and everybody is clapping for her, and Diamond the Body walks up to Natalie and gives her a hug. So Natalie hugs her back because she thinks they're cool with each other, and all of a sudden, Diamond slaps Natalie in the face. And I'm sorry, I know I'm gonna get a lot of heat for saying what I'm about to say, but I thought that was very weak of Diamond the Body to come on stage and slap Natalie in the face, especially because Tasiki and Scotty literally said that backstage, Diamond said that she didn't have any issues with Natalie, and she was backstage taking shots and laughing and joking around with Natalie right before they came on stage. I think that's extremely weak, okay? I feel like if Diamond the Body had an issue with Natalie and she wanted to fight her, she should have just told Natalie to get up and she should have fought her. Or she should have just slapped her instead of pretending to be her friend and giving her a hug. I think that was weak and I think it was lame. And I know that a lot of people are fans of her, so I'm probably going to get a lot of flack for this. People are probably going to dislike my video after saying this, but I'm sorry. I have to be honest and say how I feel. And I feel like if this was somebody other than Diamond the Body that did what she just did, I feel like people would be saying that she was wrong for that. But because people like Diamond the Body and they don't like Natalie, they're going to say that it's okay. I just feel like Diamond is always sneaking somebody instead of just standing up and fighting them head up. Like, she'll sneak them, and then after she sneaks them, then she'll fight them head up when she's ready to, and I just don't think that that's a good look, okay? So Natalie ends up hopping up out of her seat, and she's walking towards Diamond the Body. Diamond the Body's backing up, and there's security around them, and security will not let Natalie get to Diamond the Body. Natalie's swinging over security, and they just won't let her get to her. So Saucy Santana starts saying that it's not fair, and that security needs to move out of the way to let Natalie get her lick back, and I completely agree. How are you just gonna let this girl sneak her in the face and then not let her get her lick back on her? Like, that's crazy. So then security finally moves out of the way and lets Natalie get back at Diamond the Body. So Natalie and Diamond the Body are over there fighting. We can't really see what's going on because they're pushed kind of where the crowd is and they're in like a corner, but it looks like Natalie was on top of Diamond the Body. I don't know if she was winning, but she definitely was on top of her and she definitely was swinging. So I don't know who won that fight, so I can't say who won, but I will say that I thought it was weird what Diamond did. I'm sorry, I just thought it was weird. So then Natalie and Diamond start having a conversation and Natalie's asking Diamond what the issue is, and Diamond is claiming that she felt like Natalie disrespected her best friend when the whole Anna situation happened, and I think that's stupid that she would hit Natalie for that. Like, shouldn't she have a problem with Anna because of that situation and not Natalie? I just thought that was stupid. I feel like that was a situation they could have talked about. And then Diamond started saying that Natalie feels like she's untouchable, but how could Natalie possibly feel like she's untouchable when she gets touched every single season? Like, I don't feel like we've seen a season yet where Natalie hasn't got touched by somebody. She got touched in Baddies ATL. She's been getting touched every single season, so I'm confused as to why she thinks Natalie feels she's untouchable. Now, Natalie starts saying that she doesn't want to deal with Diamond anymore and she doesn't want her coming back on stage, and she starts yelling backstage at all the other baddies that haven't come out yet and said that next time anybody on this show disrespects her, they'll be replaced by new people. So Natalie ends up coming backstage and she tells the reason why Diamond hit her in the face. She said that because one day she got online and she saw that, you know, Anna and Diamond the Body were going back and forth with each other. She found out that Diamond the Body was out and Anna was out as well, and Diamond's friend was going at Anna, and she just told Diamond that she doesn't think it's a good look for her to be allowing an outsider to go at one of the baddies, and that's the reason why Diamond has an issue. And if that's really the reason that Diamond slapped Natalie in the face, I think that's weird. I don't think that's a reason to put her hands on her. I just think she wanted to hit her and she used that as an excuse, and I would have had more respect for Diamond had she would have just said that she doesn't like Natalie and that's why she hit her. Now, Rolley ends up coming out and Jayla and her have a little bit of a back and forth. They weren't arguing with each other and you can tell that they still wanted to be friends a little bit, but Jayla said that she was hurt at the fact that Rolley unfollowed her and stopped talking to her because she felt like she was laughing at her when the whole Tommy situation went down. I didn't see Jayla laugh at Rolley when that situation happened. I feel like Rolley and Tinkerbella were mad at them for no reason. I feel like there was no reason for them not to go to the booking after that happened. I feel like they were advertised to be at a booking, so Natalie and Jayla leaving wasn't a big deal in my opinion. Should they have checked on Tinkerbella and Rollie right away? Yes, they should have, but I don't think they were wrong for going to the club booking. Now, Jayla and Rollie do end up hugging it out, but we know that they've gone back and forth recently on social media, and Jayla recently did an interview where she was shading and talking a lot of shit about Rollie, and Rollie ended up clapping back yesterday, so we know that the two of them are beefing once again. I just feel like none of them are really friends and they all talk about each other, but the reason why they all stick together and say that they're friends is because they all benefit from the friendships. That's why I don't get too hyped up about any of the girls beefing or falling out with each other, because we know they're going to be cool again based off of how they're going to benefit from the friendship. Now, when Rollie comes out, Scotty has her shoes off and she starts questioning Scotty as to why she took her shoes off, and Scotty said that she didn't take them off for Rollie. She took them off because Diamond the Body came up on Natalie and swung on her, so that's the reason why she took them off. Now, like I said earlier in this video, we know that Scotty and Rollie were going back and forth with each other because Rollie felt some type of way about Scotty making an apology about not having Slim's back in that situation between Slim and Rollie. Rollie basically gets a little bit emotional, like she starts tearing up and saying that she felt like Scotty turned her back on her and she only did it because the fans were eating her up. Now, Scotty tried to say that she wasn't talking about Rollie beefing with Slim because she understood why Rollie was beefing with Slim, but she did it because she didn't think it was right for the way the other girls got involved in the situation. But then they ended up pulling out exactly what Scotty said, and she said the opposite. She said Rollie. She said that she should have pulled Rollie away and told Slim to run. Now, I think it's cool for Scotty to apologize to the fans. However, I understand where Rollie's coming from because Scotty was standing beside her when it happened, and now all of a sudden, because she's getting ate up by the fans, now she wants to change her tune around. So I do understand that, but I think they'll be cool again eventually as well. They bring out Biggie and Anna, and to no surprise, Biggie says that she doesn't beef with anybody and that she's not going to be fighting at the reunion. And then Anna said that she's going to fight whoever wants to fight her and told them that they need to hurry up and bring Summer out because she wants to fight her. And basically, Saucy Santana says that Summer should want to fight Anna too because Anna jumped in her fight with Scotty. Tinkerbella ends up coming out and she has her pregnant belly out. I thought it was weird that the audience were trying to figure out who the father of her child is. I thought that was weird. Like, I'm sorry, I know this might be an unpopular opinion, but I'm not a fan of the live audience for these Baddies reunions. I feel like they do entirely too much. They talk too much. They're just way too vocal. I wish they would just sit in the back and just be quiet and clap and make noises when something happens. But other than that, I wish they wouldn't really talk, but that's just my opinion. And Diamond the Body ends up getting brought back on stage, and obviously her and Rollie have beef with each other once again because before the reunion was happening, the two of them were going back and forth on social media. So Rollie hops up and she's ready to fight, so they square up with each other and all of a sudden they start swinging, and that's where the reunion ended. Now, I feel like they could have shown the whole fight between Diamond the Body and Rollie in this first part of the reunion, but they wasted too much time on stuff that wasn't important that was going on backstage, and that's the reason why we have to wait until next week. So those are my thoughts on this week's episode of Baddies Midwest. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode down in the comment section. Don't forget to hit that like button for me. I appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more videos and hit the notification bell so that you know every time I upload a new video. Thank you so much to everybody who has subscribed to my channel. I appreciate you all. And until next time, I will talk to you guys in my next video.